Hi everyone, Davi here of Figure 8 Energy and We Light Beams on Instagram. I'm here with Jenna. Her Instagram is at Jenna Life Coach, and we actually just met yesterday. Every third Sunday there is a dance church, and I went this past Sunday, and it was amazing. The connections were absolutely beautiful, and if you want more information on that, just message me and I can give you the information for that. It's here in Jacksonville. We're in Jacksonville right now. And this is Ren, for those of you who haven't met him yet. He's awake while Rian is asleep, so I guess they're just taking turns in this video sharing experience. Originally, so yesterday we just hit it off and we were talking astrology, and I was just like, whoa, she has such a wealth of knowledge, and I was just seeing how she was putting all of these different aspects together and compatibility. And so my initial thought was like, yeah, let's like talk about that.
Yes.
But then she gets here and we start talking about other amazing things. So I figure we're just gonna like leave this video open for whatever flows through, whatever the divine decides to channel through it.
Yes, completely.
I do want to start it off with what we just were talking about, and it's how new the human species is, right? Like we have only been around, our energy has only been around for, what did you say, like 250 years?
Well, America itself is only like a little around 245 years old.
Okay.
And so, but forever our DNA was, survival. Men would go out and hunt, and we lived in villages. Women came together, and we all had roles to help for survival. Our currency was food and survival. It wasn't money, wasn't any of that, and it was about protecting our generations. So our mindset was all about protecting each other, fighting for each other, helping each other. We worked collectively. It wasn't all about this separation, and we had houses or we built things for protection and so on, but it wasn't about that. And then now I was talking to her about was how families are getting divorced. Men don't know the roles that they're supposed to play. Women are lost in their energy because we're not able to be the mothers and caretakers that we're supposed to be. And it's so sad because really we never were designed like this. This is all new. I mean, we got to think for thousands of years. We were all in this, tribal villages, towns, like we all stuck together and had all these roles that were purpose for what we were good at.
And it worked.
It worked.
Right? It worked. And then we come into the models that we're in today, which I feel like in America, like it's advertised that we're a consumer country. And so it's like the capitalism aspect of it, and that's really affected our family dynamics. And sure, like, humans are adaptable, so we can go about different things. I think about my journey with my two boys, and I've been able to make it work, but through help of community. Like, I had a community around me whenever I was pregnant with my first one, and I'm starting over from scratch. I sold my restaurant and was just like, well, what do I do? It was a lot of going back to what I call the reciprocity model. It's Figure 8 Energy, and it's what I built the whole nonprofit off of.
Yes.
And it's us getting back to what our actual needs are and using those things as currency. So food, like I'll do work exchanges for food, and sometimes money too, because we still live in this matrixy environment and have to use money. But it's like, okay, like food, shelter, different things, childcare, pet care, like do all sorts of things.
Well, let's talk about just money itself.
Yeah.
Because that's our way to be able to get things. We've lost the art of creating a need. So now we're starting to go back to providing some kind of service or trade or material, because these big box companies and production and AI is going to take away our ability to be able to provide something as a form of currency. So I'm a massage therapist for 21 years. I help people and heal people, and I use these hands to make money. I have a trade that I have perfected at this point, and I'm at the top of my game where I can go in and and people will pay me so that I can provide this for them, right? But Is AI going to take away that ability for me someday? I don't know. What about, other things? Like, there are so many things that we need to keep going back to and learn and grow so that we don't forget that. It's not all about being on your phones and trying to, allow, because if that gets all shut down, what are you going to do? How are you going to make money? Working for companies too, that's never stable.
Right. So
There's
it's
no
like,
retirement really in a lot of places. There's no unions to protect you anymore. There's, in the state of Florida, right to work. You can invest. I have a friend that was invested for over 10 years in a company. 10 years. Overnight, she lost her job. Broke. What are you going to do?
right.
How are you going to make money? You can't put all your eggs in corporate business. We have to get back to being of some kind of service. So this goes back to your model, really being there and providing something for someone. When you serve others, you are truly giving back. You are truly going to survive. The universe can do so much for you and your family.
Yeah, I feel that too, because you're saying when I provide a service, sometimes people don't have money, but they might have something else that we could utilize too. It's like, okay, so we're getting back to the whole barter thing.
Bartering, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the energy of reciprocity. It's like, yeah, you're putting out a certain energy and it's going to come back to you. Maybe not in the same exact way that you put it out, but it still comes back.
But does it really matter? Because it's funny. It's like you'll have food on your back. You'll have clothes on your back. You'll have food in your mouth. You'll have your bills paid. You'll be able to survive.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't have to be like, oh well, I'm not driving a BMW and I'm not living in a $800,000, $600,000 house. Oh, that's not currency. That's debt. And you don't have a job. What are you gonna do?
Well, spend time raising my children, connecting with them, not putting them in daycare. I mean, if people do that,
completely.
like, not.
Yes.
I understand, like, everybody has their own flow and the way they do things. But for me, my values are being able to use that time freedom to spend time with my children and to raise them the way that he's like, yeah, Mama, raise me as a sacred masculine. You came into the world as a sacred masculine. We're going to keep it that way. And that's the whole thing. It's like, now, if you're not plugging yourself into all of that, because it is kind of hard to do anyways, because if you know what your morals are and your core values, and then you're doing a job that you have to sacrifice some of that, then there's a part of you that feels less rewarded. And you're trying to make it up in other ways. But
And it hurts our generations as they're growing up. Them not having mothers and fathers out there because, let's talk about the divorce rates and the families and the separations. This is a huge heartbreak because, like I said, men don't know the rules. They don't feel that because of the emasculating energy that's out there for the masculine type of men that are supposed to be they can't make a living.
yeah.
It's hard for them to make money. It's hard for them to provide and take care of a woman and a child. It really is. So when you shift that form of compassion for understanding that we put a lot of pressure on that energy for them to be, and then women are going out and using the system, for their own survival and taking from these men a lot of their ability to provide, and they have no desire to be. They just, they want multiple forms of income to be able to survive because they don't have families to protect them. So it's all about this money, ego, narcissistic energy that's out there, and it's destroying that. Yes, please.
So, yeah, women, our culture actually tells us to do this, to have that boss babe mentality, the hustle mentality. So women are going out into the workforce. We're putting our children aside somewhere else. Somebody else can watch them, so we can go and make money. And then it's like, now the man is trying to fill this provider role, but he's like, well, if a woman can provide for herself, then what does she need me for? And I feel like that's where there is an evolution, or just coming back to understanding what do women actually need from a man if they are providing for themselves, if they don't need you to take care of them in that foundational way. And I feel like it's security. You still need to have some sort of security and foundation to be able to trust somebody, to have this protector energy over you.
Remember before we started this, this is going back to what I said, was women bond through security and protection. Men bond through sports or some kind of hobby, physical hobby. Why? Because back in the day, men were out there physically hunting, working together, bonding with other men for survival. So I'm a golfer. I love to play golf. Men bond with other men very well, but most women don't play golf. So there's this disconnect between the women and the men bonding because men want a best friend. They want to do some kind of physical activity with women and bond with them. But then if men are not being the providers and protectors of their home, then women are also not going to fill those same roles. That's how you bond. Sex is dopamine release, okay? You don't get bonded through sex. It's for projection for babies. That's not about it. When you evolve your chakras and your energy and your vibration, sex is like down here. That's not about it. When you have a hurt energy, a painful energy, like broken because your parents got divorced, abandoned you, like they happened to me when I was a child, and all this trauma is there. That energy sits in the root chakra, which then you crave sex because you're trying to release that negative energy. But what's happening is that all these people around are trauma bonded through sex, through the root chakra, and they're making babies and divorces, and everybody's going broke because child support, alimony, all this stuff. Everybody wants money for survival, when they're not understanding how men and women did for thousands of years to survive. Men bond through, remember, like I said, through sports, hobbies, activities. That's how their testosterone is made. And women bond through protection and financial support and stability so that they can be able to raise their children, take care of the house. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of children is a full-time job. I mean, I can get lost alone with myself and hours go by cleaning the house. It's just like, and then I'm supposed to work and provide and do all this stuff. It's very stressful being a woman in today's culture. But then it's also very stressful for a man too, because they're not being respected or understand how to find the love. We're both suffering.
Or they expect one to do everything, and then when they can't, you fall a little bit short. What I've noticed, because I see things in patterns and just like looking back generations and seeing the similarities, it's like, okay, so women were put into the workforce, empowered to go and do that, and so, or they're single moms, so they have to go into the workforce. They feel like they have to, so they're putting their child in daycare, but then they don't have that same connection with their child. So when their child grows up, they're like, oh yeah, this is also something normal to do. It's just put a child in daycare. Like the mother doesn't actually need to be there. I'm just saying this from like somebody personally said this to me. Is like, well, my mom had 2 children by herself and she was just fine. And I was thinking, I was like, no, your mom worked 2 jobs. Your mom wasn't able to spend time with her child, which I'm sure she wanted to. Like, of course you want to spend time with your children. You spent all that energy and time making them.
This little baby is learning how to survive. It's watching every move, every second, trying to figure out, how do I live and survive in this world? How do I talk? How do I do? They're learning right now. And when you take that away and you put that in the hands of a stranger, I mean, how many times job turnovers happen? And on top of that, you never know who's coming in there holding your child, and the negative energy that they're transferring into their children. Are we like serious? We just let strangers raise our children?
And even people who aren't strangers, like I've had situations where I've let my eldest be watched by somebody, and he comes back and he learns a habit that I'm just like, whoa, like it's gonna take me like weeks to like get this out of him, because I don't want that to be brought forward. But if I wasn't there to even catch it from that one instance, it was only there for a few hours, it's like, what would the effect be? It's like that energy from somebody else is raising them. It's like, no, I was gifted them, like I was blessed with my children, so I could help them move forward with that knowledge. I don't want it to sound like people who have their children in daycare aren't doing the right thing, because I understand the structure that we're in. It is so hard. Like, you can't just be like, oh, like I don't want to do this and then change everything overnight. There are some like energy techniques that you can do to what we were talking about before is like you put energy in now, and then like as the ball gets rolling in the future, that will be able to manifest. But you gotta like know what your values are, like what you care about. Me personally, care about my children, so that's what I set up too. Like the way that we're living right now, of course, it can always be tweaked and fine-tuned, and I have things going in the future, but what I set up was for me to be able to have time freedom, to be with them, so I can have that energetic influence and have the connection with them too. Because we should be going back to the way things were before, where the mothers are with their children and just for everything.
I know, in this time right now, and I feel, and again, I do want to say that I'm not saying that if you put your child in daycare or things like that, and if you have the financial means and you need to do that, I get it. You have to do what you have to do, and pray that nothing ever happens to anybody's child. But at the same time, you got to remember that there is a disconnect when a mother is not able to really work in that energy and be in that feminine energy, and she's constantly having to be in the masculine to provide because the man is not able to provide. And again, it's not saying that the man's not doing his best, that he's not going to work, that he's not doing what he needs to do. It's getting really difficult and hard in America to be able to survive. And what do we do about it? We have to collectively come together and start fighting against this and really shut down these companies that are not, they're hurting our economy because they're not allowing people that with service or trades to survive. The taxes, my goodness gracious, are ridiculous. And there's no, it's just money is just being thrown away, and you're trying to get up, and it's like as soon as you get up, you're not high enough, you're not good enough.
Yeah, you can be jailed for not paying all your taxes as a business.
I know.
So when I was pregnant with Rion, I had my restaurant, I was opening that bakery, and then I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I tapped in, he's like, we don't want to keep doing this because you're pouring so much energy into it, He obviously wanted me to pour energy into him and to have more experiences, and so I sold the business, but there was a month that I had forgotten to pay taxes, and it was like backlogged, and I had to figure out how to do that. And I remember having this like crushing pressure on me, being like, I do not want to give birth in a jail because I haven't paid my taxes. Like it's crazy. It's like I'm providing a service, and still you're providing a service but having to pay the government because you're doing the service in the government system.
Yeah.
But if we're just like in our own system and we remove money from it, then you can't get taxed on when you're not using that.
Yeah, but if you're not using credit and you don't have a tracking system, you can't get a car loan, you can't even move in an apartment, you can't. If you don't have some form of tracking system, then what do? So I could work and go to people's houses, which is so funny, like as a massage therapist. I could go to people's houses and do mobile, not pay taxes, not even act like I'm working and make money. But if I open up a location where I'm actually paying rent and I have people come to that location, I have taxes among and fees and all these other inspections and all this stuff because I want to provide a stable location to be able to give massage.
Right. And then there's that pressure to make more money, to bring in more people instead of just
because landlords want to raise more rent, and they need to make more money as a landlord, and the cost of materials go up and everything's going up. But so I could do things the wrong way and survive, or I could do things the right way and starve. That makes no sense. But that's how this world is. What's good is bad, what's bad is good. I'm not saying there isn't some things that they say is bad, really bad for us. Yeah, of course. But this world is super hypocritical.
We are in this beautiful time of learning how to navigate it, though, based off of what we want. And I feel like there's more people who do want communal living, and so you can still live communally in a structured society.
We can. We just have to figure out what that looks like. We don't know what that looks like because now we've had 2 generations that are gone, And now America is being set up with people that are all into technology and don't have skills or trades or anything like that. I mean, for a long time, for a long time, we thought like, oh, you know, we have to learn computers, we have to learn all this stuff. Yes, this is important, but everybody wants to be into this AI computer type stuff. But now you can go to school and get a degree and still not have a job.
Oh yeah.
So what do you do? If people are going to schools with lots of student loans and they can't find work because now people are hiring people with less education because they want to pay them less, so big companies can make more money. And then, so you have a top of education, but now you can't find a job. And then it's, I don't know, this world, I just think that, so what Spirit is telling me right now is that we can get caught up with all of the negatives, right? But remember, this is just a video game. You can create any reality you want, okay? So if we go back to that, so yeah, we see all this mess, but what matters is you creating what you want, and everybody's different, so to each his own. But what makes you happy and what you desire, you have all the power inside of you to do that, and right here in your thoughts. Remember, our thoughts, our energy create, you know, motion, make things happen, and all we have to do is just be in that positive energy for us to put it into that motion. But it comes with our energy. So we'll go back to that first thought, how we're talking about what we do today, and our energy and our timeline sets up for a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and a year. Sorry.
No, I am just giving you the floor.
Oh, no, you're fine. I didn't know. So what happens is that the timeline of who you are, like, time is not linear like the way we think. So calendars, clocks, watches, all that stuff, we created that, okay? So that was never created. The only thing that we can be focused on is seasons and the month and the astrology, like the stars and stuff, because everything, we can calculate that. That's how we've been calculating time. So what we put in today with our energy, that energy, if you put, like, for example, there's always a polarity. God is about, or God's energy in just general, is a positive vibration, okay? But in order for us to have choice, we have to have that ability to choose or see the difference, which is the darkness. God created that too. There's a respect in that, okay? So when you understand that there's a polarity between positive and negative and energy and light and dark, that's because we have a choice. That choice is how we are able to truly have, like, a relationship with God, because otherwise we'd just be robots. We wouldn't have that, right? Correct? So if you understand that energy, if that God spark is in us, that choice to choose, and understanding that God also created the dark and the negative so that we can see the light of God. Okay, so understanding that, not in a religious sense, but just an understanding, like, you can't see light without shadow, without dark. That's the contrast. Just like any electrical outlet that you have in your home has a positive, negative, and then you have a grounding. Without the grounding, then the electricity is not stable. Imagine God being like the grounding energy, the neutrality, the neutralness that sits right in here. So every day you wake up, you get to restart your energy to choose that positive or negative polarity that you choose to do. But when you say, let's say, you choose to be on the dark side today, and you put a lot of that negative energy into play, a year from now, around that time, because it's around an 11 to 13 month cycle, you're gonna sit in that negative energy when you wake up. You're just going to wake up with that negative energy. You know why? Because you chose that negative side. And so that negative energy has right over you. So it's going to bring you more negative things that are going to happen in your life. So you have to rewrite your energy every day. You have to choose positive or negative. Many people don't even realize that they have a choice. So being aware of it's the start. Okay, there we go. Now we're aware of it. Now you've heard this. You can't undo this. Now, when you realize that you put, let's say, that negative energy in play, a year from now, if you put like a lot of negative energy in, a year from now, the same thing's gonna happen, depending on how long you were going through that negative energy. Was it, a week? Was it a month? However long you were in that negative energy, you're setting that up for a year from now. And then, but it depends on the type of energy that you put in. If you put in a lot of positive energy and you go into there, now you can set things up positively. Positive energy, when it comes into that type of setting, the next year you're going to set up more positive events for you to go more and more and more. Resetting your energy is the most crucial thing that you can do. But you can use energy to play for manifesting what you want if you're looking for money and stability.
Oh,
So,
I got
yeah.
something.
Go right ahead.
And I talked about this in one of my other videos, but when you're talking about timelines, I was reflecting on this just like maybe a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
About, okay, we're in October now. Where was I energetically? Like, what was my energetic space last October? And I was very much in the mode of, I do not like my existence, but I feel trapped in everything. I feel like I don't have enough energy, all the excuses on why I can't get out of it now. But I'm going to practice feeling the energy of what I want to feel.
You're choosing that positive energy.
Chose to, yes. It's like, okay, so there's clouds all around me, but in my
Did you set that a year ago?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a year ago. And now I am living in the energy of what I wanted. And I didn't know everything that was going to take place. I thought, like, and I was like, well, maybe it'll still be this situation, but things will just be a little bit different. No, it's like the divine had to wipe out basically everything in order to make it happen. But I'm so grateful for it.
And guess what? Next year around that time, you won't wake up with that negative energy. You'll wake up with a more positive, because you chose that day in that moment to set that in motion.
Mm-hmm.
But every day, the more positive choices you choose, you're choosing to serve. You are a master of what you serve too. That's another thing too. If you serving the dark side, that dark side has every right to your energy.
Yeah.
It wants your energy.
Yeah, you're consenting to it.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand. When you were talking about like putting the good energy forward, I was just visualizing this hill and like this tiny little ball of something, and it just keeps going down and down, and the more like momentum you're putting into it, it's like the ball's getting bigger and bigger, and it's just like this big beautiful energy ball that you've been putting into it, and it's like it catches up to you.
Yeah, well, and that's where the marketing and advertising aspect, that you can use that energy. So once you understand the positive and negative energy and understanding choice, now how can you use it to make money? So what you do is every day, if you're like, okay, I work for myself. So every day I'm going out trying to meet people. I'm handing a card out, marketing, advertising. What you do for today in marketing and advertising, you won't reap the benefits until next month. But if next month you're also marketing and advertising on that day, then the next month it's even more powerful. And you can actually keep marketing and building your brand or sell whatever thing you want to offer to society or service. It just takes consistency. So just like you have Instagram, which has algorithms and consistent, it can watch where you're going. Even my car, I get in my car and the Google's like, oh, you're around this time you go to work, around this time you go here, around this time you go here. And it knows my algorithms because I'm very consistent in my schedule.
Yeah.
Well, energy works the same way, the exact same way. So it's not about like trying to be super structured in trying to do like control, not having control, because the universe, you got to let it have its divine appointments and meetings, right? But if you are consistent with your intention and saying like, I want to go here. So like every Sunday now, I'm making a commitment to Wildcrafters because I love, they always do something there. They did dance church and so on. So now I'm consistent, and it's allowing the universe to send more positive people. I made a commitment, like on Sundays I go and play golf. So everywhere I go and I'm meeting up new people in the afternoons to go play golf, I'm meeting really good golfers and great connections that I'm like, this is incredible. Like it's out of this world. And I have such amazing times with people because the universe knows, okay, Jenna does this at this time. Like every day at this time, it's happening. So time is not really in my field. The universe is manipulating that time based on my only, not expectation, just intention.
Okay.
huge difference, because see,
Yeah.
expectations lead to disappointments because you are trying to control other people or events, or you're thinking of things that are not really what's supposed to
And
happen.
you're attached to that outcome. So if
Yeah,
it doesn't
the
happen
attachment.
exactly the way you do, then I don't know, I feel like control is a very toxic way of being.
Codependency comes, it's controlling behavior comes from insecurity, okay?
Okay,
And
yeah.
codependency, having a lack, produces narcissism and controlling behavior. So it's a behavior, and it can be stopped when you
Right.
realize that you're never in control. But you do have to have action, and you got to have consistency. But people don't understand action and consistency and intention. They don't understand that, which also comes to authenticity, which is, are you truly living and doing what you truly love to do?
So when you say that people don't understand those three things, like how would you put it in a way that people could digest it better?
So I would say, first off, like when I started to really become awakened and like really get out there, I didn't know that I wasn't truly living my best self. When I got divorced 8 years ago, I didn't know who I was. So when friends that were close to me were telling me that you're not being authentic, I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, well, you know, I go to church on Sundays, and I'm working, and I do this and I do that, but I wasn't being like me. And I was putting all these expectations and demands on everybody to make me happy, but I wasn't happy myself, right? So when you start living your truth and doing what you love, then the expectation is taken away, because you truly are doing what you love to do. So, and doing it in a setting that really allows the universe to give you that, like, to give you what you need. So, for example, like I found golf 4 years ago. When I go to play golf, my intention is to continue to learn and grow as a new golfer. But then I'm also putting out the intention that I want to meet good people that need me as a massage therapist. I'm giving an intention to the universe to bring the people to me in the setting, because I love massaging golfers, because I know how to hit their neck, shoulders, and hips and get them to become a better golfer, because I play golf, and so it's a win-win. And then, so my intention is for the good of them. The money's not even in my field. Okay, I'm not manipulating, I'm not trying to control. I'm not telling the universe when I go out there, you know, when I go out there to go play golf, that this is like, you know, universe, you got to bring this to me. I'm going to do this, or I'm creating stuff in my head and I need money, and I'm not doing that. I'm just going there to play, have fun, and just let everything happen the way it's supposed to happen. And I'm not putting anything in the future. I'm literally living. Okay, that's what it is. Mindfully present. Being mindfully present was one of the first things that I learned in my authenticity.
Okay.
Because I'm not staying in the past. The past is gone, okay? I'm choosing to live a life to be here and now that will make my future better. Whatever that looks like, I don't know. Like I said, I want to meet people who need me. I want to become a great golfer, but I'm doing what I love, which is playing golf. That's it. I'm doing what I love and letting whatever happens happen. And I'm telling you, every time I go out into the golf course, I meet the best people. I don't have any issues. It all works out every time. It blows my mind. For example, I'm new to Wildcrafters, right? I met the owner, Yang, back in May online. I was on Instagram, and I was looking for, because I don't drink alcohol, so I was looking for a place where I can be around people that are like-minded, like myself, that don't drink alcohol. And it was like a booze-free bar. It was so amazing. And I said, the first question I asked him was, I want to find people that are like me, that don't drink, that are in health, and, you know, not necessarily hippies, but, you know, that's what we call them. Or, you know, people who love to learn, and I just want to make friends. I told him I want to make friends. I didn't put any expectations. I didn't know even what that looked like. And then finally I went in a month ago, and it's like now I'm setting the intention that whatever it looks like on Sundays, because I'm off on Sundays, like that's the day I take off consistently, I don't work. I'm like, I'm going to go to Wildcrafters, and whatever happens, happens. I had no idea. I literally had no idea what to expect on Sunday because that was my first time doing dance church. And I was like, I came in with an outfit because I didn't know, and then I realized I had to change my clothes, and it was this whole different thing. It was way better than I had ever expected it to be, but it was exactly what I was needing.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing, is that when you let go of the control of that and you allow the divine, beautiful universe to play out your story, like you put the desire, you put the intention, and you do what is authentically true for you, the love for yourself, like the love, the connection, however that looks like. You just put that out there and just show up. It's amazing what the universe will bring to you. And when you're in need or lack, you just ask, and boom, happens, comes.
You just have to trust. Not like put it out there and like, okay, now I'm expecting this to come. And it's like, okay, this is what I need. I talked to the divine, they already know. So now I'm just gonna keep doing what I need to do to just go forward and be. And it shows up in whatever way that it does. And I'm always like, things happen so much at the point where I just start laughing. I'm like, you are amazing.
I know,
like,
right?
I am
It's
so
great.
in awe
Yes.
of you right now. There was, it happened, I don't know, maybe like 3 weeks ago. I was traveling. I had a camper attached to my car, and my son, he's almost 3 years old. He's like, I gotta go pee. I was like, okay. So we have a travel toilet in our car. So I just pull off on some random side road. You know, he does this thing, and to get back onto the main road, I needed to go off on a side road. And I went off on the side road and went about my life. And then, you know, I come back to Jacksonville a couple weeks ago, and I meet this woman who is just like, you know, we're vibing on so many different levels, and she was just like, what would it take for you to get your camper at my property? And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And she's like, what would it take? And it's like, I don't know, just like the basic hookups and like whatever our exchange could be. And I was like, well, first, before we even talk about this, let me see where this is. It was on one of the neighborhood streets I went through, just like this random street that I pulled through. So when I'm pulling up to her place, I'm just like, really, okay, I see you. Like, you're lighting me up and you're connecting me with these really beautiful people. And I'm just having a lot of fun with it. Just, you know, having that conversation with Source, being like, okay, this is what's coming up ahead. I'm leaving an opening for you to work your magic in whatever way you do, because I know it's going to be amazing. And I think another thing behind that, and this could be different for everybody, but I always put the intention out there for, like, whatever I'm doing, I want to be a blessing to whoever I'm in contact with.
And you just said intention, to be a blessing, to be of service. That's it. So your intention, but most people are not in touch with what is their intention. So that's the key. That's where the inauthenticity happens.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, if you think about it, if you're saying one thing, but your energy and your feelings inside are saying another, you're giving the energy, the universe, mixed signals. It doesn't have a preference.
Yeah.
It doesn't know good or bad, right or wrong. It has none. It's a law. It's just like a program into our matrix.
It's responding to your energy.
It's just responding. It's just reacting. So the thing is that if you want more positive and happy things to go towards you for your life, you have to get real with you inside, with your intention. Like you said, you just ask, you let go. I like this, let go. If and when you're just dead set on that one intentional thought or desire, that's it. The universe is just going to give it to you. So there was this really good story I saw like years ago, and it was this documentary about this family on heroin. And they studied them for 1 year, and they both didn't have a job. Their children, you know, they were living out of this van, and they used over $240,000 of heroin in 1 year.
Wow.
How?
So they're able to generate.
How? How did they do that? And then you're thinking to yourself, well, if you're in a religious mindset, you're like, well, why would God, that's the devil, would give him. It has nothing to do with God or the devil. It's a program. The law, this algorithm, this matrix of the world is just responding to what you desire the most, to what you want the most. And the thing is that if you believe, like, say you ask for, you want to live here, but you're like, but you send out this energy, you're like, I really want this, but that's going to be hard. So that's going to be a struggle. And so that. So then the universe goes, okay, let me give that to her with a struggle. Because she is saying that it's going to be hard and be a struggle. So I make it a struggle for her because that's exactly what she's saying.
And so what you're talking about right now is what I was touching on in the video I posted yesterday on like self-love. Part of it is recognizing, okay, like what energies, what programs are going about that we're not really aware of because it's something that was passed on to us. So like what you're saying, like, okay, I want this, but society and past events have told me that it's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. And so it's like
programming.
You can stop yourself right there and be like, wait a minute, is that the program I want to continue to run? Or I'm going to say like, I want this, and it's going to flow to me with grace because I know the divine has got this, and I'm just going to let you do your work.
Yes, exactly, because you are actually speaking that you want it to come easily.
Yeah.
And so when things are struggles are coming in, or sometimes I kind of think they're a little bit of a test, or they were an energy that you put in a year or two ago. So 2 years ago, I started my business. During this time, I was struggling so bad. I was in so much fear. I was asking for money. I was like, oh my God, I was starving because I put all my money and all my eggs in this basket instead of doing it nice and slow and like taking time. Well, then guess what happened? Remember I told you they happened in 1 year, so 1 month cycles, 3 month cycles, 6 month cycles, 1 year cycles, 2 year cycles, 3 year cycles, 6 year cycles, 9 year cycles. We go in these cycles. How do we know that? Does anybody have ever heard of the stock market? like, come on. People make millions of dollars off of the stock market because they know the ups and downs between the cycles. Politics, the same thing. Every 4 years, we got a new virus that's come out and it's going to kill the world. It always happens. Like, we have been putting into these cycles for a long time. That's how the programming of this world happens. So if you understand the programming and what you're doing, so 2 years ago, I was really struggling. But what I didn't do was truly give back. So right now, even though I'm going through a struggling myself because this is the energy I put in 2 years ago coming back to haunt me, I was in so much fear. I'm not writing that. I'm giving, I'm helping, I'm going out there. I'm resetting my whole energy. And it is a little scary because I'm just like, I have never been in this position in the last 2 years. When I got over that, I was doing okay. But then I'm just like, this will go away. One, I have to rewrite the energy so that next year and the next 2 years, this doesn't happen again. So that I have to do. And then secondly, I have to just remember that this is just a cycle. It's gonna go away. And yes, it was a September, October, November, almost to December cycle. I will be done around December. I will get through it. It's going to be okay. Let me just reach out for some stuff. Let me do what I need to do, and then rewrite that whole imprinting that I did. It's an imprint that I did, and be authentic to myself. Do what I love. Send all that powerful stuff so that I'm in motion.
Yeah, I love that. It's like I feel like it's the hack. Right?
It's a hack. It's a cheat code.
The cheat code
yes.
is the word.
Because again, my future, visualizing your future and what you want, you have to dream it. You have to think it. But if you want a more positive, happy future, you have to be present. You have to put yourself out there. And fear is no love. Yeah. So if you're coming in with fear, then there's something inside your vibration that you're not being authentic with. And then the universe feels that fear and it's not going to give you what you desire because you're stopping it from the program, like from what you believe or think that you can't have. So that's where the inauthenticity and the when you meet someone and they're saying one thing but they're doing another, or you can see the contrast, like it's not working out. It's because of what's in their vibration, like what they believe and their thoughts and their heart and what they're speaking is not in agreement. So that's why people cannot manifest the money that they desire, or they can't clear their past or understand how to clear their past to create a better future. If you've put a lot of negative energy, it's going to take a good, what I recommend, like what I'm doing right now in relationships, for example, I'm doing a 1-year cleanse. I'm doing a 1-year cleanse, and I'm so big on this. I'm resetting my energy, because I can meet the most wonderful man today. It wouldn't matter, because I've had so many on and off breakups, so much drama, so much sadness, so much crying. It's gotten better every year, but I'm just saying it keeps happening, that I get a good man to come into my vibration, but because of, let's say that day's great, the next day's great, but let's say a year ago around that time I got into a big fight with that person over text message or broke up or something, and I'm really mad and angry, and I put all that negative energy into that day. I swear to you, if I'm in a healthy relationship, that person will be attacked that day to come against me. Same thing.
Isn't that also a belief as well?
It's because that negative energy is in my field.
Yeah, it's in your vortex.
It's in my vortex,
still, you
yes.
have the residual energy.
I have it there, so it attacks me and everything around me.
Yeah. So
in relationship, it attacks me.
You can choose to take that year to cleanse all of your energy, clear it out, or know that if you still go forward in a relationship, that it's going to come around and it's something that you both are going to have to navigate.
It's hard though. It makes it really hard, because if the person is not as spiritually evolved as you are and can recognize that negative energy, they get used. Oh, I had a friend, I've had some bad texting information, conversations with people in my life, and I'm cleaning that up. You know, a lot of people use texting as a form of attack and drama and stuff like that.
Right.
And my mother was really big on that, and so I've been cleaning up that vibration, getting off of communicating that way. We have a problem with talk in person. Let's not do that. But, even just a friend came at me sideways, with a book, and I'm just and then I'm participating and I'm going back and forth. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then I finally was like, hold up. Spirit was like, this is a cycle. A year ago, you got into some texting match with a guy you were dating, and now this, not even a relationship I'm intimate with, not even anything. This is just a friend. And all of a sudden, he got used to come at me. And so as soon as I changed the energy and said, no, look, I'm not going to participate with this. We're not going to talk like this. Let's talk in person in a couple of days. There's a lot of negative energy here. I have to stay focused on work and so on. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. As soon as I did that, the person was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. They didn't even realize. They didn't even see it.
Got caught up in it.
Because my negative energy was so strong that day that it bled onto my whole story, my whole energy around. So that's why I recommend, if you have a lot of negativity in your life, you need to take a 1-year sabbatical to clean as much as you can, because then you'll have the chances of surviving next year if you want a relationship. So if that's the hopes of that. But then you got to remember that everything goes in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year cycles. So you got to remember that what happened 2 years ago may come about. But there's
the
a
more
key.
work you do, though, the lesser extent of the effect it'll have on you. I will recognize patterns that will come up, and it's just I just see it as a pattern. It's oh, well, I'm not going to go about it the same way because I feel differently, and I'm a different person today than I was back then, and I'm not getting caught up in it because I can see what it is.
Exactly.
So this happened recently, and it was on the same day. There was a couple different people. I just woke up and I had these messages, and I'm just whoa, this is weird. What kind of energy is this? And I remained neutral through the whole thing, and I just helped each person navigate it. And I was wow, I'm proud of myself, because there was a past version of myself that would have taken this personally, why are they attacking me? Did I do something? There's just no, it's really a reflection of them, or it's something that happened maybe a year ago and I would have gotten caught up in it, and now I chose to do differently, I'm putting different energy forward. And after that, the person, they messaged me I'm so sorry that I did that. I dumped all that energy on you. And it's
see?
It's okay.
They don't even realize it.
Okay.
They don't even know, because they're just a player in your story. So they don't even, they can't even see it. And that's where the power of realizing that everyone around you is either meant for a season or a lifetime. You got to
Season,
figure
reason,
out.
lifetime.
You never know what's gonna happen, or
Mm.
and we don't put expectations on it. We just go with the flow and try to maintain like service to each other. That's the one thing that I love about my energy now and all the connections. It's becoming more and more positive because I also feel that the universe is giving me more people like yourself that I can be of need and help and be there, and then vice versa. Like we can serve each other, because that's my desire, that's my dream, is to find more like-minded women like yourself that believe in what I believe and have done all this learning to become where I'm at, so I can win at this video game and like affect the world and talk to the world, so we can make a change in this world. It's so important right now. We have to be the voice. And I do this all the time in my business. All my clients, I'm always teaching and talking to them, and they love listening to me and they love going out there, and I love that. But I know that I'm ready for more now, and that's why I'm here today with you, talking to you, so that I can, to all of you and to you, is because I'm here to be of use. I wanted this. I asked for it. Honestly, I asked for you. I really did. I asked for you. I was like, but I had to be consistent. I had to be patient. I had to let go and just know that when it's the right timing and the right moment, it's all gonna happen, and it's all gonna be perfectly divine.
Yeah. It's always divine, and everything in divine time too. When you were saying you asked for me, it's like I was reflecting on yesterday. I kept seeing her, and I was just like, I need to talk to her. I was like, what? Like, I don't know, but I need to go talk to her. So like, and there's two moments. Like I tried that one time and then got interrupted, and then as like the beings started to clear out, like there you were again. I was like, oh yeah, I need to talk to her. I have no idea what I'm gonna say, but I'm just gonna like be here.
Yes.
And it worked out, and we got into this like really engaging conversation, and then here we are the next day.
Oh, and we got so much more to share and other talks.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
I still want to talk astrology. Like, I'm probably gonna close this out because it's almost at an hour, and talk to you personally about astrology.
Yes, yes.
So-
I mean, we'll talk astrology
Yeah, you
talk
guys will get your
eventually.
time,
I
but-
promise.
Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this, or you're enjoying what I've been sharing and the different beings who are coming on, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find Jenna on Instagram at Jenna Life Coach.
Jenna Life Coach.
And my Instagram at WeLikeBeans or at figure.8.energy. Love you guys.
Bye.